Before getting into this week's episode, I just wanted to take a moment to pay respects to the family of Jim the Anvil Neidhart. The wrestling world lost another unforgettable character this past Monday. Jim the Anvil was part of one of the greatest tag teams ever, the Hart Foundation. He was the perfect complement to Bret Hart, and later in his career, he became the enforcer of the group as the foundation expanded from a tag team into a faction. Jim Neidhart has been a part of the wrestling business longer than I've been alive. Today, his daughter Natalia is carrying his legacy on as a leader in the women's revolution. I would just like to take a moment to keep them in our thoughts as we discuss something that the Neidhart family has been involved in for nearly 40 years, professional wrestling. Please enjoy the show. In the words of the great one, finally, we have started our podcast. This is episode 1 of Wanna Talk Sports. I'm the host, Juan Acevedo. This is my co-host, Tyler St. Jean. We are here for the wrestling edition of this podcast. And I say wrestling edition because eventually we're going to do every sport. Baseball, basketball, football, maybe some boxing. We're going to get into everything here on this podcast. And there's no agendas here. This isn't ESPN. This isn't CBS Sports. We're not in it for the money. We're here for the passion. We have nothing swaying our opinions. This is what we really think. We're not doing this for the money, like I said. We're doing this because it's fun. So I'm going to bring in my co-host, Tyler, here. Tyler.
How you doing, Juan?
Pretty good. You?
I'm good.
Took us a little while to get this started, but I think we're off and rolling right now. We're going to be all right. We're going to get into the Summerslam preview right now. We're going to do our predictions through the whole card. And it's a loaded card. We got, 13 matches on the card?
Yeah, 13 matches. Should be 3 on the pre-show and 10 on the main card. So special start time this Sunday, 5 o'clock. You going to watch the whole thing? 5 till, 11, 12, whenever the thing ends?
5. I'll probably miss the pre-show, honestly, but I might tune in for the tag match. What is it, the mixed tag match? Rusev and...
Yeah, we'll get into that. Actually, let's just start getting into the card right now. Speaking of the mixed tag match, it's Rusev Day. It's gonna be Rusev Day Sunday. If you didn't know, happy Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day. Today is also Rusev Day.
Today is also Rusev Day, and he's with me with his wife Lana, who, we'll get into her wrestling ability. She's been surprising a little bit in the ring, and she's gonna be. They're both gonna be wrestling. A favorite of mine, Cien Andrade Almas, and his manager Selena Vega. How do you feel this Sunday with the match? What do you think is going to be the outcome? What do you think about the storyline leading into it?
I think Andrade Cien Almas needs this win because he hasn't really had a signature win since being on the roster. He had a great match with AJ Styles. He's had a good match with Sin Cara, but he hasn't really done anything on the main roster, and I think this is his first big win. And I think Aiden English somehow gets involved again, costs Rusev the match, maybe finally turns on Rusev fully, because we've been seeing in the past few weeks that he's been pretty much a thorn in his side. Every time Rusev has a match won or Lana has a match won, Aiden English somehow messes it up. And he has good intentions, but I think that's going to change Sunday. I think he's going to full out turn on Rusev, and Andrade Cien Almas is going to get the victory. What do you think?
I'm with you on this. Like you mentioned, Almas needs a big signature win. He did beat Rusev on SmackDown, but there's a little bit of interference with the mentioned Aiden English. But this is Almas' first pay-per-view. SummerSlam, it's probably the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. And even though he's on the pre-show, I think WWE's going to want to get him over a little. And I'm excited for this match. I think Rusev and Almas are both great competitors. And I'm looking forward to actually seeing a little bit of Zelina Vega and Lana in the ring, because they been going at it the last couple weeks on SmackDown.
Yeah, I love me some Lana. I got to admit.
So, yeah, we'll see about Aiden English. I think he might actually turn this time for real. It won't be an accident.
Mm-hmm.
So we're both kind of on the same page when it comes to that. So we'll see. We'll see this Sunday what happens. Moving along, another match in the pre-show, I should say. We got the B team, who's got the new entrance music. I don't know if you like that or not.
Horrible entrance music. What do you think about it?
I think it's catchy. I think it's going to catch on, to be honest.
It could. I mean, I've been wrong before.
Speaking of the B team, it is funny to me, too, how the Raw Tag Team Championship matches in the pre-show, but SmackDown somehow made it to the main card. But, that's neither here nor there. And they're going up against a really good tag team in the Revival. How do you feel? Do you think the B team is going to keep the belt for a little bit of a run here, or do you think the Revival finally takes the belts?
Honestly, I have no idea what to think about the Raw Tag Team division. I thought it was on the rise, but it's pretty much one team division right now. And the B team is that one team, and that's all you have to say about the Raw Tag Team division. At one point, they had the Bar, they had the Shield, they had the New Day. They had a bunch of teams on the Raw side, and now it's pretty much just the B team, and now the Revival, who finally is getting a shot. Is this their first title shot?
Well, on Raw this past Monday, it was a triple threat. I know it wasn't really like a one.
That was actually a pretty good match, by the way.
Yeah, definitely.
That might have been the best match on Raw.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think the B team retains, but it won't be too much longer. I think the Revival is going to be the next team that gets the belts.
I hope so. I mean, in NXT they were great. I didn't follow them too much, but every match I saw of them was a really good match.
So, it's only a matter of time with them. For some reason I'm sticking with the B team this Sunday, but I think near future Revival will be your Raw Tag Team champions.
And the B team is undefeated, so
absolutely.
I don't know if the streak's going to end yet.
All right, what do you think about the last match in the pre-show? Well, we don't know if it's going to be the last match or not, but the 3 of 3 we're talking about right now. Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gulak for the Cruiserweight Championship. A little bit of 205 live action on SummerSlam.
I think Cedric Alexander is going to retain.
Me too.
I don't see any reason to take it off him. He's been pretty good with the title right now. Drew Gulak to me isn't really a championship material.
He's a viable contender though. It should be if they give him the time, which they got a 2-hour pre-show. Hopefully this match gets some times because 205 live matches, if you give them a little bit of time, can really put on a show.
Oh, they can. They're some of the best workers in the company.
Absolutely.
Believe it or not. The storylines usually aren't too good, but ever since Triple H, I believe, has been taking over 205 live booking, it's been a lot better. I don't watch it every week, but when I do watch it, I've seen some pretty good matches. So I'll definitely tune into that one. I mean, that might be the main event of the pre-show.
Of the pre-show. All right. Moving on to the main card. Speaking of 205 Live, here's a guy that might be on 205 Live or could be on 205 Live if he wasn't such a big star. It's Finn Balor, and he's going up against the new Constable Corbin. I don't know how you feel about Baron Corbin's new character on Raw. Being Stephanie McMahon's right-hand guy. How do you feel about this match?
I'm not gonna lie, I hate this match. I might not even watch this match. That's how much I hate this match. I love Finn Balor, but Baron Corbin to me is awful. I hate him. I cannot stand Baron Corbin. He's using Kane's old attire basically in the worst part of Kane's career, and it's bad because I watch Raw on DVR, and every time Baron Corbin's on, for the most part, I fast forward through it. That's how much I don't care about this match. I can't believe Finn Balor's in this feud. It's a waste of Finn Balor's talent. And what is the point of this match? What's the main focus of this feud? Finn Balor's small. That's pretty much all Baron Corbin has said for the last month and a half.
Well, you just said a month and a half, which is why I don't understand why this match is on the SummerSlam card, because I feel like they've been having singles matches on Raw for the last 5-6 weeks.
Exactly. They fight every week on Raw. Why are they at a pay-per-view match?
I don't understand. And I don't know if there's some kind of twist. Probably not.
I don't think there's any twist. I think it's just a lack of creativity by WWE saying, we have nothing to do with Finn Balor. Let's throw him in a match with Baron Corbin and make fun of his height, which it doesn't make sense because he's 10 times more talented than Baron Corbin.
Maybe, too, is I can see Finn after this match maybe moving towards the Intercontinental Championship scene. So I can see him winning this match to get him over.
Oh, I think he must win. If he loses to Constable Corbin, not Baron Corbin, Constable Corbin, a guy who comes out in freaking dress slacks and wrestles a match. If he loses to Baron Corbin on a pay-per-view, at a pay-per-view that he won the first Universal title on, by the way, if he loses to Baron Corbin, I honestly don't know if Finn Balor is going to be in WWE much longer. That's how much.
I think he'll win. Now, going back to Corbin, though, I know you're not a big fan of the new Constable Corbin. I am more interested in the Constable Corbin character than the Lone Wolf. I thought the Lone Wolf was the most boring character I've ever seen in a long time on WWE.
Oh, I agree. I don't like Baron Corbin at all. There's nothing I like about Baron Corbin.
You don't think this
I'm
character
sorry.
is...
I'm burying Baron Corbin, but I have no interest in Baron Corbin
You
whatsoever.
can't say that this character is a little bit better than the Lone Wolf when he came out and like no one knew anything about the guy and he was just the most boring character.
I mean, I guess the character's better, but that's not saying much.
All right.
I have nothing nice to say
So
about Baron Corbin.
we both agree Balor should go over, and he will go over, we both think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Balor wins, but I
Okay.
might not watch it.
All right. Moving along, how do you feel about SmackDown Tag Team titles? They'll be on the line this Sunday with the New Day will be challenging the champion Bludgeon Brothers.
I'm intrigued by the match. I think the Bludgeon Brothers might retain, just because they've been so dominant. They haven't have they lost a match since WrestleMania, since they won the titles? I don't think they have.
No, I don't think
They've been
so
pretty
either.
much in squash matches every week against
Yeah.
jobbers, but still, I don't think they're ready to lose yet. But the New Day could definitely use a title reign. When's the last time they were the champions? I can't remember.
See, I disagree with you on this.
What do you think?
I don't think the New Day needs the titles. I think that they are just going to be.
Oh, I
you
don't
know,
think they need the
in
titles.
the mix with everything. They don't need the titles to make the New Day. They got their pancakes thrown around. They got the shirts.
I don't want to
The
say
crowd's
they.
going to like them no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. I don't want to say they need it, but I think they could definitely use something different because they haven't really been in anything important
Right.
in quite a long time.
But I'm looking at the Bludgeon Brothers, and it kind of reminds me of on Raw about a year or two ago, before Strowman was kind of like, a fan favorite now. When they were first building up Braun Strowman, they put so much work into making him be like a monster heel. And I think the Bludgeon Brothers did the same. They're doing the same thing with. They put so much work into the two guys. Completely new characters. They're the Sledgehammers. I think the Bludgeon Brothers are going to be the champions for a while on SmackDown.
They should. I like that. They're old. A lot of people hate on this team, but they're like an old school team. I don't mind them. They're heels. They're true heels. You're not supposed to like them. They come out and destroy your favorite wrestlers, and it works. I mean, they're believable. They're two freaking giant. They're two huge guys, just throwing everyone around, destroying everyone, throwing people through tables, throwing people on steps. You've seen what they did to the New Day a few months back when they slammed Xavier Woods on his back, and he was out for a few weeks. So they're definitely a destructive team, and I dig what they're doing.
So far, I don't think we've had any differences in our matches. I think we both agree on who's going to win the first 5 matches we've gone over. So we'll see eventually if we get
we'll
into
see.
a conflict here of who we think's going to be victorious come Sunday. Speaking of Braun Strowman before, he's actually putting up his Money in the Bank contract against Kevin Owens. We had a lot to talk about this match because, first of all, do you think there's a chance Strowman loses? And if he does lose, what's Kevin Owens going to do? Is he going to try to cash in later on the pay-per-view, or is he going to hold on to it for a little bit?
See,
Or can Strowman try to cash in on SummerSlam?
this feud has been dragged on, and it feels like kind of like the Balor and Corbin thing. They didn't have anything for either guy, so they threw this feud together, and then they threw the Money in the Bank on the line, and it's been going on for a few. They've had a few matches. They had the Hell in a Cell match, or a cage match, right?
Well, that was
the steel
Extreme
cage
Rules
match
was
at
the
Extreme
cage
Rules.
match that Kevin Owens technically won, even though he was
Every
thrown
week
through the table.
Strowman's doing something to Owens.
Yeah.
I could actually see Owens winning, but if Owens wins, that's pretty much WWE saying we don't know what to do with Braun Strowman because he doesn't need the briefcase. But you already gave him the briefcase, so you might as well follow through with it. Braun Strowman needs to be the next WWE champion, and in order to do that, he should win this match. He should cash in that night, but we'll get to that later. What do you think?
It's almost like when Braun Strowman won the Money in the Bank, someone beforehand told Vince McMahon, we can call him the Monster in the Bank, and he saw dollar signs for selling T-shirts and calling him Monster in the Bank. But you're right, Braun Strowman did, when he won it, everyone was confused because the guy doesn't need the
doesn't need it.
briefcase.
He shouldn't have been
He's
in
not
it.
going to sneak. If he does sneak out, that's going to make his character look worse.
Right. And also, if he loses to Kevin Owens, what does that say? He can't lose that match either. So it's kind of like their backs against the wall, I think, unless someone interferes.
Here's the thing, too,
What?
is he can lose even if he gets disqualified or a count out. It's not like a clean pinfall.
That's true.
It's not like a championship belt. It's going to be if Braun Strowman loses the match, he has to. So I could see him, getting disqualified, doing something crazy again, and then he has to give up his.
That is a good point. And Kevin Owens, to me,
suitcase.
would be a lot better with the briefcase because that's his character.
the
He's a
perfect-
sneaky weasel heel, and he'd find a way to screw someone over and become the champion.
Yeah.
And Braun doesn't need to do that. But, like I said before, you already put it on Braun. You can't go back now, to me, in my opinion. You should have given Kevin Owens the briefcase in the first place. You should have won the match, the Money in the Bank ladder match. Instead, you put it on Braun. I think you just follow through with it, stick with it, and make Braun your next WWE champion some way. Be creative. They get paid money to do that. I don't, so that's on them. They need to come up with a way to get Braun that title. Or else you're going to ruin Braun's character, which I think already they're kind of doing. Not fully, but they're doing a little bit. He's a monster among men, but he's not acting like a monster. He's he's breaking stuff every week, which is monster-like, but everyone loves him. Everyone doesn't love a monster. That's just my opinion on it. I think he should be a heel, but it's too late. He should be the next champ.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to be the outcome of this match. I could see Strowman just winning and keeping his contract. I could also see Kevin Owens. He wouldn't win cleanly, like I was saying. It's probably going to be some kind of fluke win, and he would be better with the briefcase. I don't know.
So you taking Owens?
This is where the pay-per-view gets interesting because I don't know who's going to win, and I don't know what's going to happen later on at night.
Guns to your head. Who wins, Owens or Strowman?
I'm going to go Kevin Owens somehow gets the briefcase.
All right, I'm sticking with Braun. I think Braun's going to keep that.
Either way, flip a coin on this match. All right, moving along. Probably one of the better wrestling matches of the night here. I mean, this is another repeat matches. This card's good, but there are a lot of matches that we've seen on not just Raw, but last pay-per-views.
Absolutely.
Extreme Rules. And one match is Seth Rollins going up against Dolph Ziggler. Something big to talk about here, obviously, is the return of Dean Ambrose on Monday. He's going to now be in Seth Rollins' corner. Obviously, Drew McIntyre will be there with Dolph Ziggler. I'll let you start on this. What are your thoughts on the Intercontinental Championship match on Sunday?
On paper, I love it. It's going to be one of the best matches of the night. But like you said before, they fight every single week, basically. I don't know why they do that. Why are they doing that? Why are they putting them in a match every week? But we know we're going to get a great match because it's two of the best workers in the world. And we all kind of knew Ambrose was going to show up, maybe even at the pay-per-view, we thought. But we got him on Raw. And by the way, Ambrose looks jacked. I don't know if you noticed that. He looks way bigger than he did
huge.
before.
Yep.
And it's definitely an interesting dynamic because I don't know if Rollins needs that title back. I think Ziggler, with the IC title, skyrocketed himself up to basically not main event. He's Intercontinental Champion, but a lot better than he was on SmackDown, where he was just losing every month, retired, came back, got thrown out of the Rumble in like 2 minutes. He was kind of a lost cause. Now he's the IC champ. He looks better. He's got Drew McIntyre by his side, which is basically like modern day Diesel and Shawn Michaels type combination going on there. So I think Dolph Ziggler is going to retain the IC title. But the thing I'm not sure about is if Dean Ambrose is going to cost Rollins the title.
I was just going to get into that. So for me, I don't know if you were kind of feeling the same way on this. I was going to say, I don't think it's a question of if, I think it's a question of when. And that's Dean Ambrose turning heel. I think Dean Ambrose came back, has a new look, and it's not just me. I feel like a lot of people are thinking that Dean Ambrose is going to be the heel now. Rollins is doing very well as a face. The crowd loves him right now. He's probably one of the most over superstars on Raw.
Absolutely, I think he is. Monday Night Rollins is more than just a
might,
T-shirt. Rollins has the best match on Raw pretty much every week.
He might be the guy on Raw, if they weren't trying to shove Roman Reigns down our throats. But, yeah, so will he do it Sunday? I don't know.
I think it makes sense.
He could do it on Monday. He could do it on Raw. Eventually, I think Ambrose is going to make that turn on Rollins, and then you got Ambrose and Rollins going at it, and I don't think they need a belt.
No, they don't. Exactly.
I think Dolph retaining would be better obviously for Dolph, and I don't think Rollins needs the belt, so I think overall, I would say Dolph comes out with the victory.
Absolutely. I think Dolph retains his title. He needs that title. The title makes him. Seth Rollins made the title. So Seth Rollins by himself feuding with Dean Ambrose for no title, is all you need, really.
And
the
then-
story tells itself. The Shield, it writes itself.
You
We
can have
don't-
someone like a Finn Balor come in and challenge Ziggler next.
exactly.
Now
Perfect.
you have two good feuds going leading to the future.
Right. And Ambrose and Rollins can feud throughout
They
the fall.
can feud.
They can feud
They
forever.
can feud for a long time. All right. How do you feel about Jeff Hardy going up against Nakamura? And this is obviously for the United States Championship that Hardy just lost in about 5 seconds on Extreme Rules. And why do you think they keep showing Randy Orton with this feud too? Like, what's going on here? What are they gonna do? Is there any chance Hardy would win the belt back? That's the first question.
I
guess.
don't see Hardy winning the belt
me
back.
either.
To me personally, Hardy looks hurt, like legit hurt. Like I think that's why that match was so short. And he does the Swanton the other night. He looked in pain. I don't know if he was just selling, but he looked like he was legit hurt.
Yeah.
I think this guy might need some time off. I don't know what they're gonna do with Orton, but it's interesting to me because when Orton came out in Evolution, he was one of my favorite guys, honestly. And in the last like 5 or 6 years, to me, he's gone down a notch. I think it's because he's been there so long and he's done pretty much everything you can do in WWE. So I think this heel turn to me refreshed his character, his career, and I'm pretty interested in Randy Orton, what he's gonna do. I don't know what he's gonna do. He's been attacking Jeff Hardy, so is he just gonna cost him the title, or I mean, is it much deeper than that? I think there's more to it than that, but I do think Shinsuke retains regardless of what happens. Shinsuke walks out with the U.S. title, and Jeff Hardy might not walk out at all. He might take some time off.
Yeah, I agree with your point on Randy Orton. I am also. This is the first time in a long time I'm actually like interested in his character, and it's because like what you said. Like, I think he realized it, and everyone WWE realized it that he's won everything, and the crowd's kind of become bored, and he's using that as like his hero.
Right,
character.
he's cutting great
And
promos every week.
It's working. Yeah, it's definitely
works,
working.
definitely
like
does.
I'm interested, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. Well. If he's going to come out, he'll make an appearance. At
Oh, he's
SummerSlam.
100% doing something.
He'll come
I
out.
just
He'll
don't know what he's
probably
gonna do.
RKO and like you said, he'll probably destroy Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, maybe he
Probably be out
costs.
for a little bit. Who knows?
He could cost him the match with like a distraction, and then maybe just beat the hell out of him after the match, and then Hardy gets stretchered out or something, write him
Yeah.
off TV. I can see something like that because, like I said, I think Hardy really is hurt in real life, but
We'll
time
see.
will tell. We'll see.
I do think Shinsuke does win the match and keeps his United States Championship heading into the future. All right, let's move into a little bit of women's now. We'll start here we'll keep it on SmackDown. We'll go. Originally it was Carmella versus Becky Lynch, but the Queen Charlotte Flair showed back up, and now it's a triple threat match. And I'm actually a little bit interested in this match because I think it was an interesting move putting Charlotte and almost like they want you to feel bad for Becky Lynch, and it does make you feel bad for Becky Lynch. It was almost like she had her one-on-one match, and then here comes Charlotte again. And then Carmella's doing a pretty good job of getting under the skin and making the crowd not like her. So, how do you feel this match is going to come out? Do you think Carmella has any shot of retaining, or
I love this match,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, I do think she has a shot because I will say this: Mella is money. She stated she has the most charisma, which is realistic. She really does have great charisma. She might be the worst wrestler in ring, actual bell to bell, but she sells. She can talk. She can get under people's skin, like you said. She can make people hate her, and that's her job. I think she is doing good with that title. in
she
her hand.
reminds me of a goddess on Raw? I don't know if that
Something like that, yeah.
something like okay. All right.
She, I could see her honestly sneaking a victory here, just because of the triple threat. I think that would give her a reason to win because, say, Sasha Banks. I'm sorry, I'm thinking Raw over here. Becky Lynch and Charlotte take each other out, and then maybe Mella somehow scores the pinfall on one of them if they're falling. But I do think all signs point to Becky Lynch winning. My pick is Becky Lynch, but
Yeah.
I can see Carmella winning. I think Charlotte has zero chance of winning this match, even though she is the best. I just don't think she needs the title right now. I think Carmella is doing great with it, but Becky Lynch needs something right now. Becky Lynch has all the momentum, and I think she needs the title. She's gonna take the next step in her career.
I might be looking way too ahead right now, but I think, and it could start now because some of these feuds, they start them early. I think WrestleMania 35, no question, WWE is looking at Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. And that match is going to happen. I think they might go with a heel Charlotte. Charlotte's going to be the bad one here. Ronda Rousey's the big face, right? And I think Charlotte's going to be the champion by then. And how does Charlotte become a heel again? Well, you got Becky Lynch. Everyone's rooting for her to win. I think somehow Charlotte costs Becky Lynch the match. Carmella sneaks out with a victory. And then you get a Becky Lynch-Charlotte feud. And then eventually Charlotte will win the belt. Ronda Rousey will win the Rumble. And that'll give you your match at WrestleMania. So, let me backtrack a little bit now. For all this to happen, point being, I think Becky Lynch is going to come really close again to winning at SummerSlam. I think Charlotte's going to cost her the match. You start a Becky Lynch-Charlotte feud after that. Carmella's still the champ.
But cost her the match is a triple threat. So it wouldn't be really a heel move if she cost her the match because isn't Charlotte trying to win the match herself?
Yeah, no, it's a good point. But I think she will be the reason why Becky Lynch doesn't win the match.
Okay, I could see that. Mm-hmm. But the only thing with the Rousey, I do agree. We're going to get Rousey and Charlotte. Or we should get Rousey and Charlotte at WrestleMania.
That might main event WrestleMania.
But how are we going to get there is the thing. Yeah. Because they're on two separate shows. Like you said, Rousey maybe winning the Rumble. Maybe. But or Charlotte could get on Raw somehow. We don't know.
Yeah.
I think
I'm just looking.
I don't see any way.
In the future.
Oh, for sure. But I don't see any way they let Rousey go to SmackDown. Not yet. Not until they get on Fox, which isn't for another year and a half.
Yeah. All right. Well.
so who's your pick? You're taking Carmella?
I'm gonna go Carmella.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got Becky. I think Becky Lynch is gonna win, but I can see Carmella winning it.
Carmella I think she's doing a good enough job right now. Yeah, I think
absolutely.
The crowd really hates her right now,
and that's her job.
That's what you want. Yep. Yeah. Speaking of looking, way in the future, the reason why I mentioned this is because the next match is a feud that's been brewing for 8 years now, and that's The Miz and Daniel Bryan. Let me just start by saying I think Daniel Bryan wins this, just because it's SummerSlam. He's one of your top guys that you're looking at. And I think he wins at SummerSlam, but I don't think this feud is anywhere near done. I think they're going to be wrestling for a while, these two. They might be in the next 3 pay-per-views. But I think round 1 will go to Daniel Bryan.
Before I even get into my prediction, for the past few weeks, I've been pretty down on SummerSlam. I'm like, the build's been okay. The build for this particular match has been pretty good. I was begging WWE, please tell the full story. Please tell the full story. There's so much depth to this storyline, and it didn't really feel that big to me in the last few weeks. Even on Monday, everything on Monday, I was like, I'm not really too excited about SummerSlam.
Tuesday? Oh,
no, I'm talking about Raw. Yeah. Raw. I was like, I'm not really too excited. Then SmackDown came on.
Yeah.
And they showed those 3 separate video packages.
That was good.
Dude, I was fired up. I was on the edge of my seat. I'm like, this is why I watch wrestling. This is why I watch wrestling. This felt real to me. We obviously know this is scripted. This felt real. This got into the depth of the feud going back to NXT, 8 years ago? 2010, was it?
They were saying on TV 8 years.
Yeah,
8-year feud.
To the original NXT when there was like 5 people competing against each other. I'm glad they told that full story. They gave it 3 separate segments. I think it was like 5 minutes each. So freaking 15 minutes of airtime in a 2-hour show was dedicated to this. And there's a lot of things that WWE does wrong that I disagree with, that I would like to do differently myself, that I hate on them for. But their video packages are always the best in the business. The best in almost any business, really. Those video packages can get you hyped up for a fight. It's a big fight feel in a scripted sport, and that's when you know you're doing it right. That's why we watch wrestling, for these type of matches. This is the main event to me. This isn't going to main event the show, but this, to me, is the main event. This has been going on for so long, and I'm glad they finally told that story. I'm fired up for it. I think The Miz wins. The Miz gets the win here, and I think The Miz gets the win here, just because, like you said, I think this is a long term, even more long than it's already been.
We can agree on that.
We got a lot more to go to this story. Yeah. There's a lot of layers to it, and I think it could end up with a title on the line at some point. But right now, I think The Miz, by hook or by crook, gets the win over Daniel Bryan. And like he said, I'm not. What did he say? I'm not a tune-up, or I'm not a stepping stone. I forget exactly what he said, but he's like, I'm not that guy. I'm the made it match.
Measuring stick.
Yeah, I'm not a measuring stick.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I'm not. I said a prove it. I'm not a prove it match.
Yeah.
I'm the made it match. When you beat me, you made it. So I think the Miz somehow gets the win here. I think he might cheat a little bit, pull the something, but the Miz gets the win. Yeah,
the Miz,
the Miz
when
gets
it's
the win.
Miz, the Miz usually doesn't win clean if it's in a big match like this. Yeah, I agree. I think the video package, watching it before the match, the crowd's going to be really into this
just play
match.
that video package again. I don't care if it's the same exact thing.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I could watch that all day.
Brooklyn will be hot for this match.
I'm glad they both weren't even there live, right?
And
they didn't need to be there live. None of them were there live, I don't think, on SmackDown.
No,
or maybe the Miz had like a little, like one of those little like phone videos or whatever. But yeah, they didn't need to be there. That was all they needed. Show those video packages. I wish they did more of those video packages for other things instead of having matches every week. Those video packages get you hyped up for a big match, and I am all the way in on this match. I will be watching at the edge of my seat.
Well, they were just the second Daniel Bryan announced he was cleared to wrestle.
Everyone thought exactly.
You were waiting for someone because who attacks someone when they're like retired like that? They're almost starting to like do it again with Carmella and Paige. They're almost like kind of just for the little chance that Paige would ever come back wrestling, and now you have a feud because they realized when Daniel Bryan came back and the Miz was, mocking him and doing all these things that now you have your money match. Like this match is going to be very entertaining, and I agree. This is probably going to be my favorite match in the card on
absolutely.
SummerSlam.
Just because the story is by far the best on the card. Like, nothing even comes close.
Storyline wise,
nothing even comes close.
Well,
even if bell to bell, it's not the best in-ring match, it's going to be the match that everyone's the most invested in.
Yeah. There's a couple more matches we're getting into right now that actually have pretty good storylines leading up to it. One of them that's, okay of a storyline is Ronda Rousey and Alexa Bliss. Obviously Ronda Rousey is, in my opinion, still very green. If you don't know what that means, it means she's not a very good wrestler right now. I think she's doing too much in the ring. She's too, how do I say this, careless. Going into this match, my biggest concern is that Alexa Bliss leaves the arena on 2 feet. I think she almost snapped Alicia Fox's arm off was it not this past Monday, but the Monday before. And she does that to Alexa Bliss. I know Alexa Bliss is very double jointed, but I don't know. I'm a little concerned. And what do you think about this match?
I couldn't disagree with you more. I think Ronda Rousey is amazing in the ring, actually.
Yeah.
I think she's had 2 legit matches. I'm not counting that Alicia Fox match, but the WrestleMania match I think was great. We were in the building for that.
Yeah.
That was
Superdome.
That might have been the best match of the night.
Yeah,
arguably.
It worked.
It was 1
Triple
or 2.
H,
it was amazing.
It worked, yeah.
It was obviously scripted out. They practiced it for weeks, and I think they did the same thing with the Nia Jax match. They practiced it a bunch of times, but I think she nailed it both matches. The only problem I had with was the Alicia Fox match. In my opinion, it should have been like a realistic UFC fight, almost like 10 seconds. Rousey flips her over, gets her in the armbar, and ends it. I think they dragged it out a little bit too much for my liking. Ronda Rousey's supposed to be a badass, a real legit fighter. She should have crushed Alicia Fox in 5 seconds and then built up.
With that said, how does this match play out on Sunday then?
I don't know. I do not know. I have no idea. That's
like,
why it's so
Alexa
intriguing.
Bliss going to take it to Ronda Rousey? Like, what are they supposed to do? I don't get
know.
how this match is going to work.
And the thing is, I really can't pick this match at all because part of me wants to say Rousey obviously wins the title, but then I'm like, not so fast, because if Rousey wins this title, I have a fear that it might get lost in the shuffle because there's so many other matches and there's so much going on that it won't be as big of a headline as WWE would want it to be. They want it to be mainstream. Ronda Rousey wins the WWE Women's Championship. So I kind of had the feeling Alexa Bliss could win, and they might be saving Rousey's title match or title win for the Evolution. Or WrestleMania. But I think that Evolution pay-per-view could be where Rousey finally gets the win, and that would bring all eyes on Ronda. Where today, I mean not today, but SummerSlam, there's so much going on. We have the Brock Lesnar match. We have the Miz Bryan. It could get lost in the headlines if she wins the title for the first time. So that's the only thing I'm kind of hesitant on.
She's not ready, I don't think.
You don't think she's ready?
No, I don't. To be a champion, like I don't. I just think she's too new. Like there's other performers who have never had the belt, who have been there for years. I don't think, like you said, she needs the right moment to do it. and I don't think the Sunday at SummerSlam is the right moment. So I agree. I think Alexa Bliss will somehow retain. Over under 5 minutes. What do you think for this match? Do they go over 5 minutes or under 5 minutes?
I want to say under. I hope
Yeah,
it's under. I
it
think it should be a fast-paced, hard-hitting match.
Should be a quick
But I
match.
thought that about the Alicia Fox match too, when they kind of played it out, had her running around the ring. So you never really know. And the same thing with WrestleMania. I thought it was going to be a quick match, and that was the longest match of the night. It was like 25 minutes long, and it was a great match. So I don't really know. I can't with Ronda Rousey. It's hard to really predict what they're going to do. But I know that if she loses, it's going to be obviously some interference or disqualification or something like that. So I'm going to have to pick Alexa Bliss to retain.
Moving along, which championship match are you looking forward to more? Is it the SmackDown World Heavyweight match, or is it going to be the Universal Championship?
Looking forward to more. I'm all in on the WWE Championship match.
All right, let's get into that a little bit then. AJ Styles, he's been the champion for a while, and we got finally a fresh face. It's going to, not Nakamura anymore. It's going to be Samoa Joe, which obviously they have a lot of history going back to TNA. They can't bring that up really on SmackDown, so instead they're having Samoa Joe kind of, get real personal, talking about AJ Styles, his wife and his kids. What do you how do you think this match is going to play out? Anything with the storyline they kind of created going into it?
I like the storyline. I think it's something different that we haven't really seen from AJ Styles. No one's really brought up his family or anything like that. And Samoa Joe is really being like meticulous with it. He's not really he attacked him once, but he's more so getting under his skin with words and bringing out the letter. Like, is that real? Is that fake? That they went off the air on SmackDown with a letter from his wife saying, like, pretty much, I hope you win. so he could spend more time with his family. But I was never a big TNA guy, but I always kind of followed their careers in TNA. I thought they were like the two homegrown TNA guys. They carried that company when they were there, and they had great matches. I remember like the triple threat match we talked about. I remember sending you that link about a triple threat match years ago. I don't even remember what year it was. Probably like 06, 07 with Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and Christopher Daniels. It was one of the best matches I've ever seen. So I know these two have chemistry in the ring. I expect a great match. I expect this match personally to steal the show. I think this is going to be the best match of the night.
High expectations for the match.
I do have high expectations for the match, and I think AJ Styles is the best wrestler in WWE right now. So I think those expectations are justified, and I think Samoa Joe is very underrated in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
For his size, he can move like a guy half his size. So I expect a physical, hard-hitting, maybe even some blood in this match. I expect a great match, and I think AJ Styles retains the title and continues on his long run of running through pretty much everybody on SmackDown.
I'm with you on this. So it's interesting that they're trying to get AJ Styles, to kind of, get a little his crazy side, if you would, or his mean side. And they did that with Nakamura towards the end of the feud when he kept trying to give him low blows, and eventually he had enough. And I forget what pay-per-view it was. It might have been like Backlash or something like that, where AJ Styles kind of snapped. Do you remember this? What I'm talking about? And I can't
when he got disqualified, it might have been the greatest Royal Rumble.
No, it was a pay-per-view. He won. He ended up winning the match.
Oh, okay, Backlash.
And it was because he snapped and just went crazy.
Yeah, Backlash.
And I think that's what they're looking for with this match. I think they know Samoa Joe is a very physical wrestler, and I like that it's looking like AJ Styles' aggressive, mean side is going to come out, and it is going to be a very physical match. And I agree, this match very well could steal the show.
I think it will. I hope they give them enough time. This should be like a 20+ minute match.
Yep, they should give them the time to do it.
Let them
tell a story in the ring, and I think this match could be money right there.
Yep, it's definitely I'm looking forward to this second. Behind Miz and Bryan, this is my second favorite match.
And then, last but not least, a match that doesn't have high expectations, but you never know. Obviously, I'm talking about Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion now for over a year, and the guy who seems to always be the one that's wrestling him, Roman Reigns. What are your thoughts? Do you think Roman's finally going to get the belt, or do you think somehow Brock retains and is never seen on Raw for the next 3 months? What do you think?
It's hard to predict because going into WrestleMania, we all would have bet our lives basically that Roman Reigns was going to win.
Yeah.
But I do think Roman has to win just to end this. This needs to end. This is annoying. This has been this has been dragged out for way too long. The only interesting part of this feud is the Paul Heyman aspect, and Paul Heyman has got me a little bit interested in it because what's he gonna do? We've seen him act like Brock Lesnar was gonna kill him. Basically, he was choking him out or whatever. Brock Lesnar didn't like him, said we're not friends, and we all know that's not true. Behind the scenes, they're like the closest friends. But he maced Roman Reigns on Monday. Brock destroyed Reigns. So I don't know what's gonna happen. We do know we're gonna get a physical match because it's always intense with these two. So I'm really not sure what's gonna happen. I just know that Roman Reigns has to win to end this. If Roman Reigns doesn't win, then I don't know. How they're just going to continue fighting forever?
What do you think, though, about... So Brock's got a UFC fight coming up, and it appears the UFC and the WWE are, like, kind of on the same page right now, and they're kind of, like, coexisting. Do you think WWE would have Brock retain so that he can show up at UFC with the WWE Championship belt around his waist? Because that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Would it not be interesting?
Absolutely. I think the UFC and WWE are definitely in cahoots. Dana White actually just tweeted out the part of Raw where Roman Reigns mentioned his name, like, oh, Brock, I'm going to send you back to UFC and you'll be up Dana White's ass or whatever, which is very weird to me because if UFC is involved in this, they really don't give a shit. They don't have any shame in anything. They're willing to pretty much make people believe that their sport is also scripted like WWE, because if you want to get crazy in book with UFC and WWE both involved together, then the way you do this is have Daniel Cormier cost Brock Lesnar the title, and that will set up a UFC match, or like you said, have Brock retain and go to the UFC with the WWE Championship, cross promote. As we know, WWE just signed a deal with Fox. UFC just signed a deal with ESPN. They both getting these huge TV contracts. They both want to do anything for ratings. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that they're working together and they're gonna be involved in this main event somehow.
So yeah, overall, there's two matches. Like I said, I just don't know who to pick. The first one I was talking about was Strowman Kevin Owens. This is the second one. I really don't know. And it's I guess it's a good thing. It's always a good thing when your last match leaves you kind of, I have no idea who's going to win.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
People talk about WWE so much like, oh, it's so predictable. You know,
yeah,
it's not really predictable because you could fill out a sheet every week of who you think is going to win, and you're not going to be right every time. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're going to do. Like we said at WrestleMania, the whole arena believed that Roman Reigns was going to walk out the champion, and that just didn't happen. And the crowd booed throughout the whole match. And then Brock won, and then they cheered when they should have just enjoyed the match for what it was. Well, what do you think the crowd's going to do?
I was just going to ask you the same question. They're in Brooklyn. Probably going to get booed, but I just wish the crowd wouldn't do that. You know, give them a chance. Like, if the match, 5 minutes go by, the match really is just all bear hugs and it absolutely sucks, then maybe, then you can start getting restless a little bit. But don't sabotage the match. So what's the whole point of that? I never
understood that. These people pay money to go to watch wrestling, and they boo the match. Like, you pay money to boo before the outcome before you even know what's going to happen, you're booing. They had their mind made up to not like the match. I never understood that. They did that kind of with the Ziggler and Rollins main event at the last pay-per-view. And that's a match that pretty much everyone would want to see. Two great workers going at it, and they still booed, and they was doing the countdown in the middle of the match.
Yeah, right.
I don't get those people that do that. If some of those people are listening to this podcast right now, tell me why you do that. What do you get out of that? Is that fun to go there and boo for no reason? Like, at least let it play out, and if it's a whack match, then boo. If you don't like the outcome, then boo. But don't boo during the match. That's just disrespectful, and there's really no point in doing it. I don't get what people get out of that. You're paying your money to do that.
Well, we'll see this Sunday. Summerslam Sunday, biggest party of the summer. Overall, how do you feel about the pay-per-view as a whole?
Like I said, going in a couple weeks ago, if you asked me this question, I would say, it sucks. I don't like it at all. But after SmackDown and kind of the end of Raw, I think it's going to be a pretty good card. On paper, it's going to be good. I mean, on paper, it's pretty good. But the Ziggler-Rollins match the Styles Samoa Joe match, the Miz and Bryan match,
Yeah.
the Triple Threat Women's match. I think those are all
Yeah,
really great
that'd be
matches.
a match.
The biggest problem with WWE to me is the week to week writing, like Monday Night Raw writing. The pay-per-views usually deliver. The in-ring action usually delivers. So I'm not really worried about the quality of the pay-per-view. They can mess it up, but I have faith in them. I think it's going to be pretty good. As long as they don't just have smallish finishes in every match.
Give them time. You know, that's my biggest problem with SmackDown and Raw. When I'm watching the shows, you have these world-class athletes who can wrestle, and they're in 2-minute matches, some of them. What's the point of that? Their entrances take longer than the match.
I would much rather have a video package or an interview than a match that doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
There's no point. If you want to give a match for the live crowd, give them a dark match main event, give them something else. But we don't need to see the same match every week and then have it on the pay-per-view. There's just no point in that. It's lazy to me. But one more thing before we go. Do you think anyone cashes in the main event? Whether it be Strowman or Owens.
On SummerSlam?
At SummerSlam, does anyone cash in, yes or no?
No.
No?
I'm going to go with no.
I'm going to say no, too, but I would. I think
Keep it in your head, though. Yeah.
The only way that Brock can win that match is if Braun Strowman cashes in right after. That's the only way they can justify Brock winning again.
That could be an interesting ending to the show. Though.
If Brock wins and Braun cashes in, the whole crowd goes home happy, and we finally have a legit champion that everyone pretty much is behind. Because if Roman Reigns is champion, we'll probably be happy that the title's off Brock, but come Reigns' next feud, everyone's going to be against Reigns again.
Well, this concludes episode 1. I hope you all enjoyed listening. For Juan Acevedo, I'm Tyler St. Jean.
And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold